A very good evening to all our attendees and viewers who are watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. A very warm welcome to the All the Saga series. A quick recap for those of you who are new to Pick a Book. Pick a Book is all about reading and inculcating the habit of reading, research, and presenting the summary of it in our regular meeting sessions. Creating a better world by changing the sense of self through the habit of reading is the vision of Pick a Book. Currently, Pick a Book marked its inspiring presence in four countries: Sri Lanka, India, Singapore, and UK, with over 1,200 plus readers, 19 regions, and 100,000 plus people inspired through our session so far in a span of 1.5 years. So, Pick a Book continues to spread its wings across the globe, and we have come up with this new initiative, a brand of our own called Author Saga series, wherein the authors can reach their readers and individuals of like-minded interests. Authors can also discuss the key insights of their books, and the readers can have this wonderful opportunity to know more about the book from the author himself. So, today we have with us Mr. Amandeep Thint, and with his wonderful book called Speak to Shine, and we also have the co-author. So he's also joining us soon. And let's get to know Mr. Amandeep a little bit. Amandeep is an international speaker and a trainer and an author and a life coach. With over 14 years of experience, he has developed simple yet powerful experiential techniques that have touched more than 1,000 lives. So he is also a founder of Brilliance Academy, an innovative and impactful business created to help and inspire people to live a passion-based life. So he's the author of a book, A Secret of Winning. In his passion-based journey, Amandeep has worked with the world's best personality development trainers and thought leaders like, Robert Kiyosaki, Les Brown, Anthony Robbins, and many more to list down. And over more than a decade now, he has been the lead trainer for Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within, preview across UK, Europe, Australia, and Middle East. So he possessed the unique quality to bring out the extraordinary from the ordinary. So he lives in London with his wife and daughter, and he's a loving father, caring husband, and a great family man. Welcome, Amandeep.
Thank you, Swarna, for such beautiful, kind words. And hello to everybody who's joining us right now, or if you're listening to this as a repeat. So welcome to this session.
Thank you so much. And I know this book is a reflection of 22 authors, on how they got into speaking and communication and now living their dreams of communicating their message to the world in different ways. So today we have with us one more author who has his, hands on this book. So he is Mr. Dhrutiman Chakravarti, and who co-authored this book called Speak to Shine. So, Dhrutiman is an author, an ICF certified self mastery coach, an NLP practitioner, and IATD certified master trainer. He is also a working executive in a leadership role with over 20 plus years of industry experience. And he works with young professionals, helping them grow in their professional career by discovering their hidden potential through one to one and group coaching. Dhrutiman lives happily in Mumbai with his beautiful wife and two lovely kids. And let's all, welcome Mr. Dhrutiman Chakrabarti.
Hello, everyone.
Thank,
Thank you, Swarna, for that lovely
thank
introduction.
you.
I'd
Thank
like to
you.
wish everyone a very, very happy Vasant Panchami, whomsoever celebrates this particular festival. Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
good. Thank you so much, and pleasure having you both on the show. And first of all, let me congratulate you both on the success of this wonderful book, Speak to Shine. And I wish you both a long way in writing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so to start with, my first question usually be like, were you avid readers? So, Aman, if you want to go first.
I don't consider myself as an avid reader, but I do consider myself somebody who is seeking for knowledge, which obviously the mode has changed. I think maybe 20 years back I didn't have a choice, so I had to pick up a book and read. But for the last 10, 12 years, because of access to audiobook and video, ways of learning, so I access more of audio and video because I'm a very visual person, and I love to
Okay.
learn where I can have more experiential, hands on with what I'm learning. So yeah, I'm not an avid reader, but I'm an avid knowledge gainer. That's how I would like to call myself.
Wonderful. So, how about you, Dhrutiman? So, were you into books from your childhood?
Yeah, I thought I actually am an avid reader, but actually later on, what I realized that I had the habit of collecting a lot of books. But eventually, what happens with me is that I don't end up completing the books. I read the books, maybe the interesting parts of it, and then just leave it like that. So that way, I don't know if I can call myself an avid reader, but yes, I love books.
Great. Okay. So, how did your journey as a writer start? So, Aman, what is your answer for this? So, when did you realize that you want to write a book, or you have that spark in you?
Uh, as I mentioned, obviously I used to read, books during, let's say, early, 2000, maybe two, three, four. I came, across some great books of Tony Robbins, and then Les Brown, and then Brian Tracy. I read books of Dr. John D. Martini. So something, in me always said, what, maybe one day I will write my book, but maybe, I didn't have enough kind of confidence, or I didn't see myself, stepping into that shoes of, being an author, because I come from very humble background, parents who can't read and write. So for me, just to get through English medium schooling, just to, do my graduation was like, a big achievement, of my education background. But then a time came probably around 14, 15 years back, I did some program with Tony, and I think,
Mhm.
I got a lot of belief in for myself. And around 2010, I started, thinking of writing a book, which took me good 4 5 years to bring it out to the world, because I had this problem of being perfect. So yeah, that's what my journey looks like. I mean, I didn't think I'll be author probably 20 years back, but maybe 10 years back, yes, I started thinking of that I can write a book and bring it out to the world for them to learn from what I have experienced, on my journey.
Wonderful. So, are we here today for the same reason? So, Mr. Dhritiman, so how about you? Like, is this your first book that you've authored?
This is my second book. The first book
Okay.
that I wrote is almost 1.5 years back. The name of the
Okay.
book is 10 Mantras to Discover Your Best Version.
Okay.
And for me also, I had a big problem with English language itself, whether it is the speaking, whether it is writing good sentences. So never thought of writing a book as such. But yes, 3 4 years back, I used to write a small articles here and there. And then
Okay.
somebody, one of my friend actually suggested that, Ritaman, why don't you try your hand in writing a book? But I was too worried and too afraid to take the first step also.
Hmm.
Luckily for me, I got the support of a book writing coach. And that's when I started my journey. And when the
Okay.
book came up, I felt pretty confident because I never
Hmm.
dreamt that I could be able to write a book. So that's the journey. And now that the confidence has come.
Wonderful. Okay, so Mr. Aman, is there any story behind choosing this title, "Speak to Shine"?
The story is pretty simple in my understanding. When the lockdown happened, I was forced to stop all my events. As you mentioned, I've been a lead trainer, for Tony Robbins, UPW preview workshop, across whole of UK, Europe, and even sometimes Australia. So I
Hmm.
had all these events, lined up. Every weekend I'll be somewhere, speaking for him, doing sessions, or speaking for my own, company's brand, which is Brilliance Academy, and running a lot
Okay.
of live events. So I didn't have much virtual presence.
Hmm.
So when we went into pandemic, I had to reinvent myself, recreate my ways of teaching and reaching out to my students. So we started putting these virtual trainings together. So initially, what I do is a 5 days program now. It used to be a master class for 3 4 hours, which
Okay.
we rebranded after we realized some other insights about running virtual trainings. So yeah, this is a 5 days program which I run on public speaking, on how to overcome stage fear, how to stand out as a speaker, how to create unique content, how to find your niche or topic. And it was a brand which was already floating around with me for the virtual trainings I was doing. And all these beautiful students I found, like Dhritiman and other 20, one of my students who are in this book, who co-authored with me, they all came from initial stage of Speak to Shine, and then they went on to my advanced training. So we were just brainstorming with the whole group, and we were discussing a theme. So the theme came out to be communication. It looked like all the 22 authors, including me, we went through a journey to find our voice. It was not something we already was born with. We had to find a way to get our voice out in the public. And yeah, the communication theme came up, and then we were brainstorming about a brand, about a name of the book. It just looked like Speak to Shine fits in very well. Everybody was very happy with that brand. So yeah, that's how we went into brand this book as Speak to Shine. So yeah, that's the story behind this title.
Awesome. That's a great cover as well. That the mic, just the mic is speaking everything.
Yep.
That's wonderful. Superb. Okay, great. Okay, so being, what you are to where you are, like, coming from a very simple background. So, what are the challenges you faced, that brought a shift in your thinking that, you want to choose this public speaking and training as your career?
Uh, I'm a mixed child. For those of you, to give you a little bit of background, India, if you're not from India, let's say, I mean, Indians mostly would relate to this, or maybe Asians, maybe, I mean, India has a lot of India within India. So
Yeah.
my dad, is Punjabi, Northern Indian, very fair in complexion. My mom is Bengali, very dark in complexion. So I'm a fusion of North and East. So when I was growing up, in this one-room house in Calcutta, in my early days, people made me feel and realize that there is something wrong with me as a human being, that I'm not pure enough as a human being. And then to add to my problems, I was chubby, and I was like a overweight boy. So yeah, I became the target of being laughed and teased, and eventually it became bullying and abusing, when I had to shift from Calcutta to a very remote village in Punjab, because some personal crisis happened when I was 16 years old.
Okay.
So I was this shy, timid, introvert guy. I would never open up and speak, though I had, things in me which I wanted to share, but I never voiced it because I thought, what, maybe it doesn't matter. So from there, when I found personal development world through a company called Amway in the year 1998, I started reading books on personal development, on mindsets, and I read two books in the beginning: How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, and then it is written by Dale Carnegie, and then Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So my world, opened up to possibilities of what's out there, and I realized that everything in me is there for me to change my life. So then I went on a journey to discover myself, and there was one event I think already mentioned about doing it with Tony in 2007. I had this big desire, which I had maybe, even in an Amway meeting many years back, but that thought came back in my brain, saying, oh, I would like to do something what this guy is doing for the stage in some capacity to make people their better version. And yeah, from there, I went on to do some trainings on public speaking. I found my voice, and the whole persona I had of being shy, timid, introvert, and shaky on stage eventually changed, over a period of times as I kept doing it. And I became this, strong, charismatic, captivating trainer. People said, oh, I mean, your presence is great on stage. And I would say, oh, is it? So yeah, I mean, that journey of me said, what, I would like to share this gift with people so that they can find their voice, which they have, because every story is unique, like yours,
Yeah.
like Dhritaman's, and anybody else listening right now. Please understand, your story is very unique. It needs to be heard. It needs to be shared. The only thing probably you need is, a belief in you that it can be channelized. It's just a skill, you can pick up. Speaking in public doesn't require any talent. I realized that 10, 11 years back. I didn't know that before that. So anyways, yeah. So coming back, I found my voice, and this is what I like to do. I'm on a mission to give people voice who would like to share their, craft, skill, knowledge with the audience, and not just share it, but also monetize it so that I can have a full-time living career through that, sharing.
Wonderful. That's an amazing job you're doing. Because a lot of people have this problem. I mean, whatever the background, even if, it's like a simple background or a rich background in the sense, in terms of not money, but the schooling and all, but still on the stage, speaking onto the stage is something, it's still scary for a lot of people. So yes, so a lot of people out there are requiring your service, and thank you so much for being there for all of us. And how about you, Drutiman? So what is your background like? So what made you choose this or get into the training, one such training like this, and change your life for good?
Yeah, so my background is also, to some extent, I can say similar to what Amandeep was talking about. I come from a very small city. 90% of the people that I meet, they say that, okay, where is that place? Is it in India? They have never heard
Mm-hmm.
that name actually. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
city or a village, you can say, which is around 100 away from Guwahati, which is the capital of Assam, the northeastern state in India. So when I grew up in that place, the only aim in life that I had is to become a school teacher because my father is a retired school teacher. And I thought, okay, that's what a career is. Uh, but then eventually, when I going to college, I met people from different backgrounds. I met people who had got certain ambitions, certain dreams in life, and I started questioning, oh, is it possible for me, or should I need to have a very rich background to achieve those kind of dreams? So I was in that kind of a mental setup. So
Okay.
after that, I did MBA. So when I did MBA, that time also I was not sure where exactly I would be going in life because I had a lot of challenge with my personal confidence level, because I could not
Mm-hmm.
able to speak English properly. Uh, I'm not a fair complexion guy, as you can see. So I think that was also many a times people reminded me of my skin complexion, of my, I was a very thin guy, all those points also came in. So that added up to my challenge of communication. And I started questioning that, okay, I think for me, I'll be staying somewhere in the same city in a simple kind of job, and that's my life should be. But then things started happening, and I mean, at a particular point of time, even I faced so much of challenge in my job because I was questioned a lot, I was ridiculed a lot because of my lack of ability to speak in English.
Yeah.
I was about to lose my job. People said that you are no good, you are good for nothing, Rituman. You go back to your city and do what your father was doing. So that kind of sentence I heard in my life. Good for me. I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to attend a training program wherein my organization sent me to develop my managerial skills, etc. That training program was a shift for my life, and that
Okay.
actually told me that things are possible,
Mm.
irrespective of the background that you come. Things are possible in your life. You need certain ingredients, and I started working on developing those particular skill sets after that, and I
Okay.
started seeing the result. So, and the experience that I had in my life, uh, I thought that let me share it with others because India is a country wherein people normally don't come with a very very rich background. I mean, majority of the people, if you talk about the masses, and
Mm-hmm.
then this set of people always think that, okay, this is my life, this is what I am destined for. you know God has given only this much to me. I cannot think of anything else beyond this particular thing, whatever God has given. Be happy with this. And some people actually talk about that every time, that don't aspire for something which you cannot afford, or that's not possible by you. Be happy what you have. So currently my mission is to work with this kind of people, challenge their mindset that they can also achieve things.
Yeah.
They are also okay to dream big and work towards achieving those dreams. So that's what my mission right now is. And thanks to Amandeep, that his training program has actually added to what my thought process was. Now I'm more confident that yes, this is the right passion and the right thing that I'm doing currently.
Awesome. That's truly an inspiring to hear that. Aman, we all know how important is the communication in our lives, and each one of us have our own definition for it. But you having been a trainer and a coach, what according to you is actually required to make it an effective communication?
It's a beautiful question. I would say, it's a $1 million question, or we can say it's a 1 10 crore rupees question. When I was, learning with my mentor, almost like, 13, 14 years back, one of this particular teacher I had, who is an expert in communication, he would always say, Amandeep, every single penny you will make, it'll come, through your communication skills. And he was right. I used to think, is it all the income is related to communication skills? And then I realized that if you go deeper and understand that we are always in constant communication, as a human being, when we're not talking to anybody else externally, like I'm talking to you and the listeners right now, I have a communication going, inside my brain, inside my head, inside my mind all the time. And if you look at this at a deeper level, and if you can understand the subconscious layers of how the brain is designed, it is more about the communication you do with yourself leads to how you communicate with the world outside. And that's what people perceive, receive, and conceive about you as a person. So the more effective communication you can design or create for yourself to begin with, and then, with other people eventually later on, either you're doing a one-to-one meeting or either you're doing a group discussion, or in the way you show up, in whatever kind of, socializing environment you are in, that leads to something called, the idea of people saying, okay, I would like to go with you or do business with you or give you a job or make you a business partner or make you a life partner. Or the opposite is happening. People are saying, subconsciously, oh, I want to be away from you, or I'm not buying from you, or I'm not giving you a job, or I'm not investing in what you have to offer. So I think, what communication is a very powerful tool. Anybody here listening, you must focus on improving it. Please understand, it's not something related to your talent, because you're enough talented, that's where you're born. It's a skill. And obviously, based on who you are, at what part of the journey of your life you are in, you might take a bit longer to, pick that skill up and make it part of your life. But it's all about becoming more skilled when it comes to speaking effectively, or speaking in a way that it is more powerful. And again, very quickly, I want to say, if you're an Asian or Indian listener, English doesn't define that you are a great communicator. मैं हिंदी में कहता हूं, फिर मैं इसको इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट करूंगा. आप किसी भी लैंग्वेज में, भाषा में effective communication कर सकते हैं. So it can be any language, Spanish, it could be Telugu, it could be Marathi, Punjabi, Bengali. And if you have people who communicate in that language, if you can do it effectively, that puts you up as a great, communicator in front of them. So it's not based on only English, but yeah, if you live in India, it has a lot to do with English.
Now India is emerging as the second largest country who speaks English.
It is. It's a must skill to have. It's not a language for Indians.
Yes. So yes. So how about you, Dilchiman? So what's your take on effective communication? So how far is, of course, yeah, it's important thing. So but what's your special ingredient from your side for that?
Yeah, so what Amandeep has said, I mean, he is the master. He actually teaches us the right methods of communication and why communication is so much important. So what I have learned so much so far is that, communication is done by your complete persona. It is not your mouth or your facial impressions, etc. The entire persona does the communication. And your way of communication actually decides so many things in life. We sometimes think that, okay, the success or failure in life depends on your skills, the hard skills, whether you are an engineer, you are a chartered accountant, you are a doctor. That's what decides that to what extent you'll be going as far as your success in life is concerned, and then how much percentage or score that you made. But eventually it comes out, well, those things are needed because that's the basic ingredient. You need to have that learning, whatever profession you are in. But at the end of the day, if you're not able to pass on that knowledge, that message to the other person, nothing is going to change in your life, irrespective of what score, what percentage you have achieved in your exams. So at the end of the day, it comes that how you pass on that communication, how you pass on that message to the other person. There are so many examples, right? If you, I don't want to talk politics here, but then talking about that for a little bit, there are so many people whose educational background is not so good, but they are such a great orators. They can move people. They can move hundreds and thousands of people to a great cause just by their words. And you, that time you're not checking whether that person is a PhD holder, whether he is a doctorate, whether he's an engineer, etc., right? So you have the examples right before your hand, but still people do not realize the importance and the strength that communication holds.
Yes, exactly. So I can't agree more on this from both of you, because once we open up our mouth, that's how the world sees you. So, yep, so wonderful. Okay, so Aman, how is this book divided? Speak to Shine. So, what in it is that makes it a go-to book for public speaking?
The book has the essence of 23 human beings who are all teachers, trainers, coaches, consultants, in their own rights. And all of them, including me, like Ritiman here, we had challenges about our originality, our background, our English speaking abilities, about our voice, and quite a few other things, about us, which is, related to self-esteem or how conscious we are, about how we speak, let's say. So from there, they found a way to overcome those, challenges, their conflict, struggles, pain, of not being able to communicate effectively in public or in a group discussion or even in a one-to-one meeting. So that's something, people have shared in this book here. Now, let's say if you listen to Tony Robbins, or let's say Sandeep Maheshwari or Ankit Vaikru, right now, I mean, you do get to learn, but you might feel, that it is little distance for you. Like Tony, is on a big stage for 40 years. Sandeep
Yes,
has been speaking for, let's say, 15, 20 years now. So you go like, it's great for them, but maybe not for me. Let's put it this way. But when you read somebody like Dhritaman, sitting in Mumbai, doing a full-time, corporate job, and then pursuing his passion on the side, or you listen to somebody's else story from here where they are running a business and how they build up that business with their communication skills. You go like, yeah, agar ye kar sakta hai, to yaar main bhi kar sakta hu, kind of thing. That if this person can do it, it looks like it's not so far, for me. So that's what this book is about. Very realistic, like people from normal lives, how they have built a success around them, and they're successful, everybody in their own special ways. So that's what this book does to gives you that belief and possibility that if these people are doing it, I mean, I can do it too. It's no rocket science here. So that's what I think the book conveys as a message about improving your communication skills. And just want to quickly add, Dhritwan was sharing this. If you look at it from a technical point of view, communication, it's just not the words you utter. That's your verbal communication, and a lot of people are
yeah,
focused on that part. It
yes.
maybe is half of it, or whatever that percentage is. The rest, close to half or less than a little half, is all about non-verbal languaging. Everything about you speaks. Your background, your facial expression, your fingers, your hand, your shoulders, everything speaks. So if you can learn this, there is no rocket science about it. It's a skill you can pick up. You can make your presentations, your communications, like sharing, more effective as a person. So yeah, coming back, Speak to Shine actually, I think gives you hope, gives you possibility, and shows you, that it can be done by anybody who is interested, committed, and would be willing to do the work, on this journey. And all these people, they did the work, on their craft. They found a mentor, they did a couple of trainings, and now, they're effective communicators.
Wonderful, wonderful. That was so true. Because a lot of people, yes, like how you both said, mostly it's like we concentrate more on the verbal speaking. That's what a lot of people. It's a myth kind of way to think that that's the most important thing, but the real impact when you see that person, the famous trainer, so it's their body language that is reaching more faster than their speech. So that's, yes, oh, that's a wonderful point here. So okay, when we are particularly speaking about the non-verbal communication, the importance of non-verbal communication, so can you share with our audience a few tips on that? um,
Okay, quickly, great. I mean, I can go on for hours. I am conscious about the, the platform I am in. So very quickly, please understand, everybody listening right now. We are Homo sapiens. We lived in jungles many hundred years back, okay, or 1,000 years back, and we bring, some element of that brain, somewhere deep down, in our brain as well. So every time you get up on stage, if you can, open up your arms in some ways, and speak. Let's say if you're telling people about, let's say, the first thing I'm going to share today about the agenda, the program, and the second thing, like, you might see people doing this. When you do this, actually it is for you, it is not for the audience. That's again, you're doing it for the audience. And if you open up your arm, that's what people subconsciously observe about you. I mean,
Okay.
because when we lived in jungles, if somebody's hand is holding something to hit on you as a stone, so that would, give me an indication whether you're a friend or your enemy. If your hands are open, it's subconscious, a message that, oh, you're a safe person to go towards. And if you're smiling, which is a great thing to do, but in the beginning maybe of your journey, you might look like a bit stiff because you have nervousness in your heart
Yes.
and in
Yeah.
your whole presence. But yeah, if you can smile, natural smile, and if you can open up your arms whenever you get an opportunity and speak, it shows that you're a safe person to go towards. So it's one of the quick, like, non-verbal languaging kind of technique I'm giving you. Okay. Then there are
Yeah.
a couple of other things, like how you're standing in your position. Let's say if you claim something, or if you talk about something great, and if you step backwards, if you're standing in a subconscious level, it could be that you're lying or you're not sure about it. So
Yeah.
there are many very minute distinctions about nonverbal languaging. Your facial expressions, they speak. And if you may not realize, your skin is the biggest organ of your body. So if your skin tightens up because of your anxiety and the pressure you feel inside, that speaks to people. You might say anything in the world, but if you go like this way in your nonverbal, they go like, no, he or she is lying. I can see this person is nervous right now. So yeah,
Yes.
you got to be aware of your skin as well. Everything about you speaks. If your hair, your glasses, your ears. So yeah, there are a lot of things which we go about in a lot of depth in distinction. But very quickly, those are one or two things I would like to leave you with, that it does brings an impact in the listener's mind. And everything which people see through the camera about you, even these backgrounds you're watching or seeing, they have some kind of communication been sent out to you. Obviously,
Yes.
this can become very powerful virtual background, which I can do, but I like to do things which my students can design and create, and replicate on. So putting a decent picture or a quote is just kind of it's possible for most people, and it's a very blank white wall, chuna laga hua hai isme, like, let's say, isme whitewash
Yeah.
ho rakha hai. That's it. So yeah, I mean, everything about you speaks. So make sure you bring some elements and prepare for it in whatever resources you have got to create that impact in the subconscious layers of the listeners, whether when they will give you the credibility or they may not give you the credibility. So you are responsible in the way people perceive, receive, and conceive you as a teacher, trainer, or a coach. So I think, hope this
Yeah.
helps a little bit right now.
Oh yes, that greatly helped because uh, subconsciously, the you have touched that very example of that, because I was watching those the background of yours with Tony Robbins, and that I never focusedly or intentionally doing that, but my subconsciously it went onto there, and that gave some kind of vibe to me, like, yeah, so what you are trying to say. So yes, so that works in a great way. Yes. And Drutiman, like, say, the public speaking, however, it's a beautiful art, and it needs a lot of practice. So but there are a lot of people who can speak impromptuli, that they can just get onto the stage and they can just speak on the go. And there are a lot of people out there who just have to practice before they deliver. That may be that goes on for years. So though, however, they just can't be impromptu even after a lot of experience. So how do you see it? Is that both ways? Is it a good, or else, like, one weighs more points than the other? So a lot of people have that, if I only can deliver impromptu, that gives the best. They'll have that intuition. So how do you want to clear that?
Yeah, so my mentor is also here. So he's the master of this particular craft. I'll just try to give what my understanding goes as far as this particular point is concerned. So yeah, being an impromptu speaker or a person who comes completely prepared before speaking, it depends on the situation, and you have to be ready for both the situations. There can be a planned event when you're going to speak. if it is a planned event, you know that what the subject is that you're going to speak, it is always advisable that you come prepared, that you make a little bit of preparation about that topic, so that your content become very strong, your content becomes relevant, it actually reaches the audience which you are supposed to reach, because you know the what kind of audience will be there. But at the same time, you might come across situations in life which are impromptu. Suddenly you are in a place wherein you have been requested to give your thoughts, share your opinion. Remember, those are the biggest opportunities for you. So when somebody gives you an opportunity in a planned event, well, that's an opportunity for sure. But somewhere you are suddenly invited to come on stage and say something, that is the biggest opportunity for you. Now, many times what happens, why people find it very difficult, is that at the end of the day, all of us, we have, as human beings, we have a fear of failure, right?
Yeah.
Immediately that thing starts coming in your mind, that people are watching me. Uh, my credibility is at stake. What people will be thinking about me if I'm not able to talk properly? All those things keeps on coming, and that's the inner voice that is working, which is not allowing you to bringing your actual voice out.
Yeah.
So I think one should work on that particular mindset. So it's not a question of whether you can speak English, whether you know the subject or not. The main challenge will be that particular mindset of the fear of failure.
Okay.
So you should try some ways out. Maybe you can get in touch with a mentor, a coach, or attend some training programs, etc. Work on that particular mindset. If you can win that mindset, whether it is impromptu, whether it is a prepared speech, I think you'll be game on.
Wonderful. Absolutely. So mindset is all what that matters. Not impromptu, not prepared. That's a good point. Great. Okay. So I feel this, a pandemic brought in a true sense of globalization, sitting at, comfort of our own homes. And, I am sure many regional faces have become national faces, and many national faces have become popular globally. So how do you look at this, Aman? Can public speaking be chosen as a full-time career option?
Yeah, of course, 100%. I mean, pandemic has given a global platform for quite a few professions out there, in the world, except for something where a physical presence is required, which could be
Mhm.
30 to 40% of the, craft or profession or careers, whatever you want to call it. I think almost close to 60%, service oriented based kind of, skills. It has given a fair playground for everybody. You could be sitting in, let's say, Philippines, you could be sitting in, let's say, Africa somewhere, or in some part of East Europe. You can have clients, from across the globe. And if you have a skill, which took you many years to figure out, um, you can just be out there, sharing it with the world, and minimizing, their journey by the number of years they'll spend figuring out on their own. They'll take you up, as an expert to learn from you. That's what I do, and that's what, quite a few of my, students are doing right now. They are full-time teachers, speakers, coaches, where they are doing their own webinars, seminars, online,
Okay.
programs. And they have modules, some have 5 modules program, some have 8 modules program, and 10 modules program, where
Mhm.
somebody's teaching image consulting, somebody's teaching organic farming, somebody's teaching healing through their own ways, of teaching. So yeah, I think it's a beautiful golden opportunity if those of you can see it, because even when the live events come back properly, let's say in a couple of months to 1 or 2 years or 3 years time, I think this is not going to go away completely. This is going to stay, and probably this will take up more than 50% of the market, when it comes to virtual learning, teaching. And I think
Mhm.
they are reckoning, that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry by 2025. And India, especially if you are in Asia or India, maybe India has got the biggest youth pool in the world right now.
Yeah.
And 65% of the skill they need is all behavioral skills, where a great teacher like you, me, and Ruttaman, and anybody who's listening who's got interest to share their, knowledge. Oh God, you have a beautiful opportunity right now in front of you.
Awesome. That's awesome. Beautiful. So yes, so ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who wants to channelize your talent, through this public speaking, or to choose this as a career, so it's a blooming one. Like how Aman said, yes, it is. So go get it, get your place into this world. And before we close this session, so I just want to have a piece of advice to all of you and all of us, in fact, from Aman and Drutiman as well. So we just want to hear a piece of advice for this younger generation.
Okay, so it's a piece of advice for younger generation.
Yes.
Okay.
To consider everyone to be younger.
Yeah, good. That's a good consideration. Well, especially from let's say younger point of view, if technically you're younger, let's say in your age or your early 20s, or it doesn't matter what part of the career you are in, whatever age you are in. I just want to say there is always a better way of doing something. So if you can put your focus on doing those things which you do on a regular basis, let's say when it comes from a productive point of view, maybe your job, your business, there is somebody who knows something better than what you know, and if you can know it through a way of learning, through a way of taking up a mentor, through a way of I don't know, doing a program, then you must do that. Because when you can make yourself a better version of who you are, things are going to be great in your life in terms of wherever you want to reach, or whatever whatever aspirations you have to gain, materialistic success or whatever that you want to create in your life, will become simpler, not easier. See, easy is not possible, but making things simpler is definitely in your power. So go out there and learn and keep getting better. The better you become, the better your journey will look like, for yourself and for people, everybody who's connected to you. So that's what I would like to leave you with.
Thank you. Wonderful for that. And yeah, what's your piece of advice, Drutiman?
Yeah, so for me, I work with actually young professionals who want to aspire in their career, but then have doubt whether they'll be able to do it or not. So I'll suggest a few points from that particular perspective. Is that, see, our entire education system, if you look at, it's focused on giving you the hard skills. And even in particularly in today's scenario, if you look at, the education system is actually a race. It's a race against 100%. So the target is 100%, and what percentage you are reaching, basis that people decide that what's going to happen in your future. Now when that thing is there, at the same time we are in a very, very spectacular time of human history. Possibly there are so many opportunities that are available outside the regular stream of education. Many a times while selecting the kind of career option, we go by what our parents say, or possibly what our friends are doing. We call it a hard mentality, right? That everybody else is going towards that, me too, so let me also go there. So I think the very thing that starts, as far as the youngsters are concerned, in selecting that what should be your career option, you should take the decision. And one of my mentor, Mr. Jack Canfield, I like one of his teaching, wherein he talks about that, take 100% accountability of your life. You are responsible, you are accountable for your life. What happens in your life, don't blame your parents, don't blame your neighbors, don't blame your education, blame yourself. Take the responsibility, take the accountability. If you are taking the accountability and then making the plans that after 5 years, after 10 years, what is going to happen, you will be accountable. I'm sure that you'll be taking the correct decision, which is correct for you, not for a group of people, not for your neighbor, not for your friend. I think that part is very, very important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that wonderful pieces of advice that truly, will have a great impact for those of you who wants to change their life for good. So thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for being on the show with us. And thank you, for all the knowledge you have shared with us, and for this bringing this amazing book called Speak to Shine to available to a lot of people out there through your experiences and your writings. Thank you so much. I think this is available on Amazon, and right, it's available on Amazon, and
Yep,
it's
it's
Kindle.
available on entire Amazon, international and in India, both.
Okay, so and the Kindle version also there for
Yes.
online readers.
Kindle,
Wonderful.
softcover, hardcover.
Great. So thank you so much for your time. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from our authors today and from us today. Thank you so much for your time, whoever is watching us live and who are going to watch it later as well. So thank you so much and see you all next week with another great book. Thank you. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.